What makes a Canadian really a Canadian? Hey there, and welcome back to the Life in Germany channel. I guess right now it's more like my Life in Canada channel. I have been in Canada and Guatemala for the last 3 months and we are nearing the end. Here. We did do something really interesting though while we were here, and that was to DNA test my brother, my sister, and my 2 nephews. Why? About a year ago, I DNA tested myself to find out that I am 0% Canadian. What does it actually mean to be a real Canadian? How do the results actually look when you do throw a real Canadian into the mix? Now, my 2 nephews are actually as Canadian as it gets. They are both from Northern Canada and are part of the Native community. So if you haven't been here before, a quick recap on myself. My name is Jenna. I have been living in Germany since 2014. I'm a born and raised Canadian just outside of Toronto, Canada. And I come over here to my channel to share all of my tips and tricks to living in Germany with you guys as a foreigner, but also to tell you about my life and now my past. So I'll link the last video above, but we've already established that I literally have no Canadian blood flowing through my veins. So now it's time to see what makes a Canadian really a Canadian. And if we're testing my brother and sister, are our DNA results really gonna match? In my last video, there were a few skeptical people in the crowd saying things like, it's a nice gimmick, but nothing more. It's still a fun thing, but as long as you don't take it too seriously. It's a huge business, but it's not always scientifically accurate. So let's look into it now. I partnered up with MyHeritage for this video, and they sent us 4 DNA kits so we could test my brother, my sister, and my 2 nephews for this video. So the 4 of them took a simple cheek swab, which literally takes less than 2 minutes. 1 swab on the right cheek, snap the sample into that little test tube. 1 swab on the left cheek, snap that sample into the second test tube. Lay them both on the little cotton pad, pop them into an envelope, and send it off to the lab. Now, in the meantime, you can actually already activate your DNA code on the MyHeritage website. This DNA cheek swab will reveal their ethnicity estimate, which is a percentage breakdown of your origins across 42 supported different ethnicities and 2,114 geographic regions. They can also actually match you to new relatives based on shared DNA, and not just when you first register, but your results can constantly change based on how many users are joining the MyHeritage website, which I find pretty cool. A really awesome little perk of MyHeritage is that when your DNA results do come in, they come in via email. You can click on the link to review your DNA and they'll open this little globe that's spinning around the world and then pull up your ethnicity estimates, which is really cool. After you get this nice little preview, they also develop these handy little charts that give you an estimate of what ethnicity you might be and what percentage that might include. So here are my nephew's results, and keep in mind they're not actually biologically related, but they do come from similar areas in Northern Canada. One was born in Nunavut, one was born in the Northwest Territories. And my sister's 3rd son was just born in the Yukon. Anyway, they have very similar percentage of Inuit. Inuit to me was basically about as Canadian as it gets. But I did dive into this and do a little more research, so hold on just a second. My one nephew also has, similar to me, my sister and my brother, the Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Scandinavian, Baltic roots, and I think that's definitely what shocked me the most. So if they're not real Canadian, or according to the results, not 100% Inuit, what makes a real Canadian? There is an easy answer to this, and that is because the majority of our Canadian population is actually made up of Old World immigrants. Old World is a term that originated in Europe after the Europeans became aware of the existence of America. Makes a lot of sense. So you can't really say Canada is Canada. It was actually founded by the Aboriginal, the French, and the English. The Aboriginal are actually believed to be of Asian descent that migrated from Asia thousands of years ago before the English and French even found Canada. When I say Aboriginal people, we typically refer to this as the First Nations, the Inuit, and the Métis. So when the English and French settlers came in, it makes sense that we now speak English and French in Canada. And eventually the basic way of life here in our English-speaking areas of Canada were established by the hundreds and thousands of the English, Welsh, Irish, and Scottish settlers that came to Canada in the 1600s. So now we're well aware that I guess that does make me Canadian. It also makes a lot of other people Canadian. And one of the things that I find the most fascinating about Canada is that we are such a multicultural country, and Canada is actually often referred to as the land of immigrants because basically immigrants have made Canada what it is today. So we take a look back at my nephew's DNA results. They actually pretty much are 100% Canadian. That means looking back at my results, I'm actually kind of Canadian too, you guys. So now the big debate, the big question, do my siblings' DNA results actually link up to mine? Their results are in as well. Let's take an overall look at them. As I mentioned, since there are always a few skeptics in the crowd, I thought this might be super interesting for you guys to see as well. I also did my research to figure out why do DNA results sometimes differ among siblings, even possibly identical twins. Dr. Gershwin, I think I said that too German, Dr. Gershwin, computational biologist at Yale University, and he said an entire DNA sample is made up of about 3 billion parts, but companies that provide ancestry tests often look at about 700,000. 3 billion parts would be a lot for a DNA company to actually look at. So this might be why there are slight differences in DNA results even when considering twins. Here they are, all of our DNA results. They do differ a little bit, but as you can see, my brother has North and West European. I have Irish, Scottish, Welsh. My sister has Irish, Scottish, Welsh. North and West European would basically be like Great Britain, Ireland, Northern Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Northern France, Belgium included as well. They're all the same. And then we've all got some sort of, Balkan, Nigerian, which makes sense because we're part Jamaican. My results are in the middle. So I am still trying to figure out why on earth I am 4.9% Iberian. But I wanted to pop open my phone here and just show you the actual app itself because you can actually go in, view your ethnicity, estimate your DNA matches. I want to go into that for a second. It has automatically linked me to my sister. If you go and review the DNA match, for example, with my sister, it shows us our match. I share 39.2% DNA with my brother. My sister shares 37.8% with my brother. So I was like, he's more of a brother to me than you are. You can also go through, you can view different photos that people might have uploaded or that you're gonna be uploading. Haven't tried out their AI time machine yet, but I'm really excited to look into that. It's hard to go too into it without showing you guys other people's private information, so I won't do that. But of course, if you are also interested in checking out your DNA, I think it's really fun to explore. I will leave a link down for you below. And MyHeritage actually has a promotion going on right now. Use this coupon code for free shipping, and as an added bonus, you can also start a 30-day free trial of the MyHeritage subscription, and if you do decide to continue, you can also receive 50% off that membership. So you guys, that pretty much almost wraps up my trip to Canada as well. I'm so glad that we got to end it on this really cool note of diving into my family's DNA. I hope that it was really entertaining for you guys too. Und wie immer, vielen, vielen lieben Dank und bis später.